We are live. What's up, guys? Cody, Southeast Softwash, and I'm joined today by my homie up in the Nashville's AP. So he usually does the intros because he's hosting. But I had a topic on my mind. I said, hey, we need to go live and get this out because it's live one. We got a live one to go live on. So is it raining in Nashville or is that just here?
It's raining up here too, man. It's a little chilly, nothing crazy, but it's been raining all day. First rain we've got in a while, so it's fine. It's whatever, you know.
I'm enjoying it. It's dry. We're on the lake here now, so the lake's down. I like the rain. It makes me feel like I'm in Scotland. I get to pretend that I'm a Highlander all day. I think it rains in Scotland. I don't know. I feel like it does. But yeah, what's today? Tuesday. So it's Tuesday before Thanksgiving. We're in the Black Friday sales week. That's what that means to us vendors, people that have websites and stores and stuff like that. So we've been running some pretty good sales. Actually kicked them off last weekend. We had a couple of teaser pre-Black Friday deals. Starting Sunday, we had a big sale on smart streams, just an individual item. Yesterday was training. Today is pressure washers, and we've sold a bunch of pressure washers today. We'll have another item tomorrow, which will be the last day for individuals. And this happens every year. Aaron's been working with us for a year and a half now, helping us with the site, stuff like that. And he's kind of gotten to see what we see with this topic that I'm going to talk about here today. It's very common, happens almost every time we run a sale, and it is annoying, but beyond that, I think there's a lesson that we can learn. So what we do, guys, and the rest of the core four, Mike, Justin, we're sort of two-pronged, okay? We have a product to sell you, and we're a little different that we'll just like actually tell you that we're selling you a product. We're not Alex Hormozy. It's like, we ain't got nothing to sell you, but the whole time it's a setup for a sale. We tell you, hey, we're here to sell you this, okay? And partly that's because we believe in our products. And we're also kind of trying to teach the guy that we only sell to guys who also have to have the ability to sell. So we really only sell to other businesses. It's B2B pretty much 100%. So we're not shy about selling. We're not shy about our products. If we don't believe in them, we wouldn't be selling them. If they're not right, they don't go on the site. They don't go into the product page. They don't get pitched at all. So we know our stuff is right, but a lot of guys will just knee-jerk against selling. They feel like it's a four-letter word. But when we do run a sale, which is not very often, we do 4th of July sales, Christmas sale, Black Friday is our big one every year, and we'll put equipment on sale every once in a while. But we get this same reply from somebody or two or three or four guys every freaking sales event. Aaron, what do they have to say when something goes on sale that they bought a week ago or 2 weeks ago?
It's not okay. Apparently what they think is they want you to refund them the money that they bought the product 2 weeks ago. It now has gone on sale. And apparently you owe them the difference of the sale.
That is, I want you guys to understand, not an anomaly, okay? I want you to listen to the mindset. So what we're doing here is there's a strategy where I could just never tell you guys that, okay? Because we're pretty brash and we get some negative press out of it, but we're also trying to teach you guys how not to think, okay? And yes, I will teach you how to think because I've made millions of dollars, okay? And Aaron is a world-class marketer. So we're not just some dude who's telling you, hey, adopt this mindset. I'm telling you this mindset that I'm about to articulate for you is how you've got to be unless you want to fail. Because I'm strolling through the office earlier before I headed home. I worked about a 4-hour workday today. And one of my guys was like, hey, I just got off the phone with this dude. He's all mad. I was like, what's he mad about? I'm like, oh, did something break? Is he got something's wrong with the product? Whatever. I don't know what he bought. He ordered a smart stream last week and he saw they went on sale and he wanted us to refund him the difference because he didn't feel like that was right. Listen to how stupid that is. And I want you to try to put yourself and see, do you do that? That's a really dumb thing to say. That's like, it's a frequency that human is operating on, and that is a human who will never ever be successful. Okay, there's one thing to look for a deal. I've swung my pendulum so far the other way that I don't even look for a deal. I actually am like deal abhorrent. I hate deals. I don't think you got to necessarily be like that, but looking for a deal is like normal. It's sort of normal land, but the hubris and the mental state you've got to be in to think a company owes you a refund because you bought something 10 days ago and now it's on sale. I told Jonathan, I said, well, call him back and ask him if he runs a house wash sale next spring. He does in a week in April. Hey, book now and it's 10% off. Do the people who he washed 2-3 weeks ago get to call him and say, hey, I saw your ad and you charged me $500 and now you're doing them for $400. I mean, that's not right. So it's simultaneously curious to me. I look at it as a spectacle of stupidity, but then I also sort of feel bad for the guy because he doesn't even understand the programming that he's operating on and how detrimental that's going to be to him in business. That you may be able to live like that and be stupid if you're just a consumer, but when it's B2B, listen, you don't need a smart string. You need to sell everything you own and go clock in if that's how you're thinking, because what you're putting into the universe is going to give that right back to you. You want to articulate on that? Give me your thoughts on that.
Well, I think it's almost so dumb that it's hard to fathom that this is reality. First off, for me, and teaching guys, one of my favorite things on the channel is, because my story, a lot of the guys on the channel know where I come from, and I didn't have a terrible childhood. We didn't have a ton of money, but in 2016, the whole bottom fell out for me. I had $500 to my name. It was like, that's when life began for Aaron in his real adult life. It was like, welcome back to zero, right? And I've dug myself out of that because I learned how to market, because I learned how to get eyeballs on my wash business, on, products, right? Southeast Soft Wash. Like, I've learned how to market myself, my business. And guys, it's almost like they don't see, they're not watching and really taking the notes on what we say. A lot of guys will have a knee-jerk reaction to what you're saying, but they're not really watching you, which is the lesson. The lesson I'm trying to teach you with us saying we don't want a deal is not for us to say that, oh, we're arrogant, we're better than anyone. That's not it. It's actually self-therapy. It's actually trying to preserve your success mechanism.
Correct.
Within your mind. You see, some people take that and be like, oh, he got all that money. That's his version of a flex. It's not it. It's that I actually know that it is a slippery, greased slide to poverty mindset if I'm not that way. And that's what I'm trying to bestow on people,
right,
on the channel for their own business. And I think sometimes we see, because we have a lot of comments, we're kind of like it's a conduit to us when it comes to comments, right? And look, we don't mind it. We actually appreciate it. But I think it's hard for people to understand really what we're trying to convey is that we're doing this for you. We're talking this way so that you can grow, because we believe in abundance in the marketplace for pressure washing. When someone says the market is saturated, that comes from a poverty mindset. Why? Because I see success everywhere in the business. I'm around so much of it, and it's in my neighborhood, and guys are starting up every day in my neighborhood.
Yep.
So how could that be? Is it because somebody comes in with a scarcity mindset and they go out of business, or they come in with an abundance mindset and they believe there's plenty of work? I'll tell you a guy, Marco Hilby. This dude's come from the bottom, bro. In the inner circle, Marco is literally one of those guys. He's one of my favorite people in the industry because he makes no excuses. The most positive attitude. Dude is collaborating with other pressure washers in his area, feels no competition, no scarcity. And he's like winning, man. He's having like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 days. making 10 grand last week in his business, dude, and he came from nothing. It's only because of the mindset. And I think the reason that guys don't gravitate to the mindset that we're talking about, Cody, is because it's not something you can touch. It's not a wrench you can twist. It's not a chainsaw blade you can sharpen, man.
It's very hard to tune into that mindset. You have to admit your current mindset is wrong. And who gave you that was mama and papa.
Yeah.
Through mom and dad. And it's not, I don't want to say wrong. I'm just saying it's less effective as a business owner. Really,
serve you.
It doesn't serve you at all as a business owner. It may serve you if you're in the Great Depression.
Right.
It may serve you. But if you're a business owner, the point of business, the most important thing in business is to generate revenue. It's not the equipment. It's not the thing. It's not the flyer. It's not the job itself. It's not the technical ability. All those things have their place. But the most important, the only thing that matters in business is, are you generating income faster than you're generating outgo? And if you are, you have what's called a P on the P&L. And if you stack a bunch of P's on the P&L, you have a profitable business. But you will not stack heavy P's as long as you're looking for the scarcity L. You're in L mindset. Your brain is on, that guy's thinking how he lost money because he didn't buy at the right time. And then he's tacking onto that it's someone else's fault. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you buy anything really online the week before Black Friday, that's probably on you that something went on sale the week after. I mean, it ain't a new concept. It's been a Black Friday a long time. It's like, I don't even consider those things. I got a lighter here. Okay. This is a pretty nice lighter. This is a SP DuPont lighter. Somebody gave me this lighter. This is a nice one. Okay. This is a few $100 lighter. You know, what the hell? It is. It's what it is. SP DuPont lighter. Go look them up. I guarantee you the person that gave me this don't know how much they are today and does not care. Was not the point of it. Now, that doesn't mean that you're just down for getting bent over. That's not what we're saying. Okay. We're not saying don't be smart or tactical with when you spend. What that dude should have done, he bought a smart stream last week, $600. Well worth $600. We've sold 1 million smart streams. He goes today and I guess yesterday, and saw that he missed the sale this week, and he lost he spent an extra $300 on his smart stream. That's what we're talking about here. This is the sentence that should pop into your head. Dang, I guess I should have bought it this week. Well, anyway, that's the sentence that should jump into your brain hole. Okay. If it's anything beyond that, where you try to throw some blame, imagine trying to throw blame at SP DuPont because they ran a sale this month and you bought this in June. Well, I need to talk to somebody. I feel like I've been doing some kind of wrong about it. That's your Oliver Anthony. Hey, somebody, it's a damn shame. No, it's okay. It's just life. You're trying to find a boogeyman, and the rich men, the companies, the corporate structure, all these people are business owners, aspiring business owners, and they're jamming out to Oliver Anthony about why it's everybody else's fault. You're never going to be successful until you say, well, daggum, I missed out on a deal.
Okay.
Southeast I didn't get in the DeLorean, guys, and go back in time and create a deal on the site. So I want you to purge that out of your mind. I'm going to give you a personal example from me and Aaron. We're coming up on $500,000 invested in a super pump. We don't have pumps yet. It's real close. I mean, we've got prototypes and we've got pumps getting, last stages of product development. We can't fathom losing $100 because I missed out on a sales event. And this is not an anomaly, guy. This is a common comment that we get. I had bought a Jag Ox Knox and then y'all ran a sale on it. That ain't right. You see what we're saying?
You're thinking too much. You're thinking too much about the small stuff. And
thinking
that's
so
all
hard.
I'm gonna tell you. That's all my bumpkin family back home, my peripheral family. That's all they think about. Small stuff. For example, gasoline is 3 cents a gallon up the road.
Right.
Less, right? Or it's, there's no taxes on food in Florida. So they'll drive to Pensacola to save $60
Right.
when they buy a lot of food. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
like, I don't give a damn. I ain't driving to Pensacola. I don't
It,
it's like,
mathematically, they save $60. The problem is every time you do that, you are enforcing the programming in your brain that you look to the negative. You
yep.
look to the savings. You look to the, and there's nothing wrong with savings. I'm just telling you, there ain't nobody that's where you want to be that operates that way. And the people who are at the furthest ends of where you want to be, as far as your imagination can take you, that have generated millions of dollars, the way they act would scare you. And you would label it as flippant or wasteful or something like that to justify why you can't understand that. There could be a reason they operate that way. It could be that they're freeing their mind to not think about the sale that they missed out on. It's just life, man. It doesn't matter. That guy needs to take. He's on the phone talking about a sale that he missed out on instead of being on the phone closing a wash job. That's $1,200. Don't matter anyway, does it? Right?
It's just, I go to the old adage. It's so much easier. It's 10 times easier to make $10,000 than it is to save $10,000.
Oh my gosh.
Try
It's
saving
insanely
10,000.
easier.
Like, you can go out and make 10,000 pretty quick if you just, guys, if you want to know the secret to marketing, like you want to know the quickest way to sell jobs, it's not, you will burn a lot of calories. It's not automated at all, but just go knock door to door. Go talk to go talk to every single human. But here's the thing. The closer you get to that effectiveness door to door, the scarier it gets for you, because you're not going to go do that. You're going to find a way out of that. Well, I got told no 7 times, and I don't think they like soliciting in this neighborhood. And
oh yeah,
go down the list.
I walk right past the no soliciting sign. I've sold people a rig. I sold a skid to a guy in a Duluth trading in Minnesota. I was in there buying a shirt, and I saw he had a painting. But he wasn't a painter. He was like a rich guy that had a painting. I was like, hey man, what do you do? I own a painting company. Oh, cool, dude. How many trucks you got? Oh, we got like 10 trucks out on the road. Well, y'all do a lot of pressure washing before you paint? Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, we make manufacture equipment. We make most of it on the planet. Give him a card. Dude bought a mini skid. You know what? What's the worst thing he can tell me? No.
Not interested or whatever.
I don't care. I made 10 grand ish off a mini skid. How long would it take to save 10 grand in Duluth trading? Well, we'll call them back and say, that shirt, y'all, I got a Duluth shirt. This is a Duluth undershirt. I bought them flannel shirts in there. Now y'all running a sale. Like, bro, here's the book right here. Look, they're running a sale. Who cares? Take advantage of the sale. Look, guys, we're running a sale right now. Go over there and take advantage of it. You'll save a ton of money. That's not what I'm saying.
Right now.
It's fine. Okay. Krakens are on sale today. They will not be on sale at midnight. Okay. If you need a good washer, there you go. Save $600. I'm damn. But what you don't get to do is that you bought one last month and call in. And I was like, man, you right. Just bring it back up here and
we'll give you 600.
It's crazy land, dude. It's crazy land.
Like cashing in.
Here's the good thing about it, okay? All the guys that you're competing with in your local market for washing, that's how they think.
Yep.
So you see how easy it is to just steamroll that? Because they won't spend the money on a footbridge site. They won't spend the money for good bandit signs. Like, they'll get the little one. There's a guy that put one out right here on the street. I did a video with him live or a couple of weeks ago when we were moving in. His sign's like that big. Can't even see the sign. Shouldn't have even bought him. He got a little sign, right? Because he's cheap. He's trying to go to the negative. The sign, see, going to the cheap route will actually cost you more money. I've drove by his sign about 50 times now. Every time I leave the subdivision, I cannot read the sign, and I'm an industry guy, and I don't know what the sign says. He should have just took all that money and bought Natty Light. It would have made more sense. Going to the cheap has never served me. It has never gotten me up a notch on the tax bracket. It has never moved my family forward. At best, it will maintain you right here. You will not progress. You will not even pace inflation thinking like that. Elevate your thinking, guys. If you catch yourself doing silly crap like that, where you're asking for crazy things, it's like there's something in you that's internal, that's from your upbringing, your raising, and we know that because we growed up in like literally dead smack central in the continental U.S. of where that comes from. That's where we grew up. We weren't poor, like we didn't have dirt floors, but we didn't go on vacation. We didn't go out to eat. We didn't. My mom still struggles with that because they make plenty of money now, but it's in her brain. We went out to eat with them Sunday night. Took them to Ted's Montana Grill. My mom and dad. We never get to hang out with them. The boys are in the back seat. Mom and dad are in the middle seat. Me and Emily were up front. And my mom's asking the boys what they want for Christmas, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe another butterfly knife." Well, how much is one of them? I don't know, $400 or $500. $400. My mom is like, does not believe that a butterfly, like, they just collect them. You ain't got to get him one, but don't say that it ain't worth that because you don't know anything about that land. Don't say the website ain't. We've had guys, my website ain't worth that. Set a ass up for about a $70,000 website bill. Go on, set a ass up, and then come back and talk to me about your footbridge site. It's free. It's free. It's literally the best thing you could ever buy. That's too much money. How do you know? Compared to what? What frame of reference do you have? Where are you getting this magical data from? I don't believe people can charge. You charging too much for them house washes. Compared to what? Did the customer pay for it? Then it ain't too much. That skid's too much money. Compared to what? Let's go get a Bobcat. You want to do that? So you ain't never thought about it. That's the problem. You're talking,
that's the thing.
You ain't doing a lot of thinking.
Guys in our world, man, we have a lot of guys who have come from the world of working for a living, meaning like a job. And they're young entrepreneurs. They're wantrepreneurs really at that stage. They're not entrepreneurs yet. They don't think in terms of ROI and investment. And, how much do I pay for a skid? 24,000, bro. Like, dude,
it's less than a month's revenue in like a hot month.
It's like such a fraction. It's not even real. It's actually absurd how cheap it is to get started with professional equipment. Like for the jobs that we do and the money that we make on these jobs and how cheap equipment is, go anywhere to any business. You can't start it. You ain't never going to start no food truck making grilled cheeses for $2 a pop. I'll sell 1,000 of them. Yeah, guess what? $2,000 in grilled cheeses. How much bread did you buy? How many loaves of bread must one buy to make 1,000 grilled cheeses? Enough to fill up the entire back of that truck. How much little craft singles you got to buy? But you ain't gonna buy craft singles. You gonna get the little Costco, the little cheapies, the below the grease. You gonna sell them for $2 a pop. But you know what? You know how much a food truck costs in general? Probably 35, 40. An okay one. We're not talking about the decked out one. We're talking about an okay one, kind of fabbed up. You know what I mean? Something like that. It's effective. It works.
Yep.
You can't get started in a real business for 25,000, just like you can in our business. It's absurd that I hear any complaints. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that those people exist in our world and they run their mouth. I'm tired of it, dude. Well, I'm
hoping, guys, we beat this horse a lot this year, and I think it's for good reason, because I'm hoping to catch some new kid that's like 23 and he just don't know no better. And maybe he can hear this message and start seeing that in himself. Because I'll tell you, I know of a 40-something-year-old man that I talked to Sunday that's got a little pissy YouTube channel who's in that same mindset, and he's just in Flail City. He's in about year 5 of Flail City. Everything's somebody else's fault. Dude trying to finance a surface cleaner. Been washing 4 years. Can't buy a surface cleaner when the old one wears out. Well, just remember, we're all simple folks. No, that you're simple in your head. The reason you ain't making it is because you're in year 4, maybe year 5. This dude I'm talking about. If I called his name, you'd know it. Year 4, year 5, flailing around. See, he looks good on YouTube because he don't tell you all that. Truth be told, man can't afford a $400 surface cleaner. Why? Well, we're all, just remember where you come from, Cody. We're all simple folks. No, I'm not simple. I'm not. I don't know who you're talking to.
I refuse.
So I want you guys to unwire that out of your mind where you feel like somebody's always trying to get one over on you. I promise nobody's thinking about you, man. There's no boogeyman out there. The boogeyman's in your own mind. The worst mistake I've made in business was thinking too small and growing at a pace that made sense. You want to know how to really get some traction? Grow at a pace that don't make sense. Mm-hmm. Grow at a pace where it scares you. Yep. You're like, I'm going to stick this out there. And then you know what you have to do is you have to build to fulfill it, which puts a fire in you to go. If you're just operating where you're comfortable, you'll operate where you're comfortable, and you'll operate right there until something bad happens. You will never make the money that you could make or the success that you could find, whatever your motivation is. It could be freedom. It could be time freedom. It could be money. It could be, owning your own business. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, there's another level of thinking that you probably haven't tapped into yet, where you can walk in a different way, and you're not looking really to save. You're not looking for a deal. Take a deal. Sure. Money saved. Great. It's fine. But that's not the frequency your brain is set on. These guys' brain is set on that channel so hard that they actually think companies are out to get them because they ran a Black Friday sale. Like every company on the planet does.
Today.
Companies run Black Friday sale. Do you buy a ball cap at Academy, and then tomorrow they put ball caps? How dare y'all jackasses running a sale? I told you, baby. Little man can't get ahead. Little man can't get ahead. No, it's in your brain, man. It's stupid.
Meanwhile, if you look at their call volume last week, well, I had talked to them and they ain't called me back yet. It's on a Sunday, so I ain't going to bother them. I had one bid last week. Yeah, how many people did you talk to? I followed up on some. Yeah, that's where it starts going. There ain't no activity. See, they don't feel the pressure of that verse that I go. And look, I know you don't like preaching, but I'm going to tell you, I feel the pressure of recent this year. I started really kind of understanding that verse that it says a righteous man leaveth a legacy, an inheritance to his children's children. That's a heavy ass verse. Okay. Yeah. When you start really looking at it, because I feel the pressure of that, and you should. That is the honor of it, is that you should feel the pressure of leaving an inheritance, not an inheritance of love, of a good family. No, not any of that intangibles. It's an inheritance of money.
Actual inheritance.
To his children's children. And if you can't quantify that and you want to bastardize that verse, then you'll get the answer for that one too. But I'm going to tell you, that's what it meant. So lean into that and start reading that one over and over again. And then take a look at your daily activity and your call volume and how many people you're asking, hey, you want to buy the house wash? You want to get on the schedule? How many people are you saying that to?
Yep.
If you ain't got a number, then you don't have any data and you're just floating.
I guarantee you, if you're doing it the way we tell you to do it, and you're closing what you should be closing, and you're charging what you should be charging, and you turn 180,000, 210,000, a year with a guy and a helper on a truck. Okay. And that's just doable numbers, guys. That's just like doable. All right. Like nobody would really argue that that's not doable. If you're doing that, here's how that dude operates. He's in year 2 or 3. This dude retires the skid and buys another one. And when I say retires, I mean he puts it in the garage. He built a pole barn and he just winterizes it and puts it over there. And it's no different than a guy like running a lawn care business that's making $50,000 a month. Don't you think that he just is like got belts and blades? And if Ace Hardware runs it, if Xmart runs a deal on belts, he ain't even aware of that. He's like, oh, they run a deal on belts. I don't know. I don't know. I keep about 30. It's how Pierce operates, really. It's
My
like,
brother,
yeah, I got a couple of 8. Pierce has got a couple of 8. Listen, what I'm going to tell you now. Pierce has got a couple of 8-gallon a minute machines just in the shop, in the box.
In the box.
They is in there just
Ain't
in
no
case he
dust
needs
on
them.
No dust on them. Just
In
new.
case he needs them.
Plastic.
He took about $6,500. And if your wiring is wrong, he threw it out the window. If your wiring is right, he put it into an investment for a day he needs. Dadgum, my washer bit the dust, pop, and he's back running. Okay. That's what he's buying. He's buying runway in his business. And he had to get to a point where he could think that way. Because if you don't think that way, you're down, you don't plan correctly, you always feel like somebody's screwing you. Nobody's screwing you, man. It just is the world. It just is the world.
That's Pierce and the Coast Guard right there. That the redundant of redundant of redundant, because that's how they operate in my brother Will's Air Force, and he's working on aircraft fabrication for aircrafts. And there's so much redundancy on an aircraft. Like if something breaks, there's another 2 that kick in.
Yeah.
Because people die. Like it falls out of the sky very quickly, like a rock. And so, Pierce, that's where he kind of learned that mentality and refined it of just constant redundancy. Like it's always a hedge to keep this ship moving forward. We got to have 2 more 8s. Because what's a lost day of revenue? Well, let me tell you something. See, because a lot of guys ain't going to think this way. Well, so say your washer goes down on a $2,500 job that day. Well, I'd say, what's a day of revenue worth for you? You said, well, I'll go buy another one that day, wait another 5 days to maybe get it in, right? Well, you lost all that time. But the problem is he's not able to really understand the weight, because he ain't been making the calls. He ain't got nobody scheduled that week anyway.
Doesn't mean anything to him.
So he can't feel it. He said, well, I'll just tell that one customer I had for $2,500 that I got to come back next week after I get the washer in and plumbed up. He didn't have another $12,000 worth of jobs because he wasn't making the calls, because he wasn't closing, because he wasn't asking for the sale. He wasn't invested in the site. He wasn't doing the marketing needed to have the other 12,000. So he thinks he's still in the right by postponing and nickel and diming in his business. And that's why he just never gets ahead. He doesn't do enough activity, income producing activity. We used to call it IPA, income producing activity. What are the calls? What are the closes? How many people are you approaching? How many leads do you have come in this month versus last month?
I'll tell you a good example of that for us. Those tanks that go into Gen 2. We buy a bunch of them at a time. They're our tanks. We have them custom molded. They ship them to us. We own the molds. Well, they didn't ship. We waited another few days, emailed the guy, said, hey, just looking for the tanks. It's been about 8 weeks. Time you place an order to get it, it usually takes about 7 or 8 weeks. They're usually fairly accurate, get them right around the right time. Oh, man, I was going to call you and tell you something went down at the factory, had a machine go down. It's going to be another few weeks. I'm like, well, that sucks. We're out. We're out of tanks. Whose fault is that? It's my fault.
Yep.
Because we should have had 80 tanks. Yep. So we still have not got those 40 tanks. Guess what we had to go ahead and do? Because we're doing the math. Well, Okay, the guys are mocking up Gen 2s, and then they can drop tanks in once they do get here. But guess what that means? As soon as that delivery arrives, we're out again. So you get to write another big check, like a Denali size check, and send it to air to the company that just shorted you them tanks. You get to throw another check out the window in a way, if you want to look at it that way. But if you don't, you see, you've got to keep the machine moving. That's the whole thing. It's like we went out and qualified the other day. If we're on an SRT raid, if we're doing a high risk search warrant, 2 guys don't go up there. Like 15 guys go up there. There's more dudes than you need. And every one of those dudes has got a long gun and a sidearm. It's called a primary and a secondary. Why? Because of redundancy. There's not one medic. There's 2 medics, and the paramedics are on standby, right? We've notified them ahead of time that there's going to be a search warrant executed that's high risk. So they're not eating lunch. They're in the truck waiting to come into the area if need be. That's how you've got to operate in your business. You've got to, if you want to be a tier 1 operator style business, then you've got to have tier 1 habits. You've got to have tier 1 philosophies in your mind where you're not like, man, this Palmetto State is just as, no, it ain't. Okay. You need to run a top shelf rifle because the success of this mission, it ain't just you, homie. Like, you carrying around some derp-tastic shit out there could get me killed in the streets. Okay. Yeah. So you can't just roll. If you're not doing it right, your family's on the hook too. Your legacy's on the hook. It ain't just, well, whatever happened. No, it's going to screw you up. See, a lot of guys come from a place where they clocked in and somebody else took care of all that. They just had to do the thing all day. Yep. Well, if you're leaving that world and you're putting that hat on, see, you still got the technician hat that you got to go do the job, but now you got to get this really foreign hat that you've never wore, this hat of marketing. You got to have this hat of management. You got to have a hat of planning ahead. And nobody's ever had to do that. See, they just had to wake up when their alarm went off and show up. And now you're trying to become an entrepreneur, right? That entrepreneur stage is you're really figuring out what you're good at and what you're not good at. And if that's the thing you're not good at, look, I swear to God, it ain't the Snap-on tool truck's fault that you didn't have the tool. It's not. Nobody's out to get you, man. This is America, and you've got every opportunity. Look, we're here to help. We've got great gear. We're going to hook you up with it. We ship quick. I tell you guys right now, it's Tuesday, November today, 20th. It's not a problem right now. I could not tell you the last time. It's been weeks, months almost since we've had somebody complain about shipping times. Why? Because it's fall. They're not in a rush. They're not in a rush to get the stuff. Why? Because it's fall. If you were still closing, you could create yourself a rush. Yep. You could manufacture the momentum. But here's what'll happen. In March, we'll ship quick as hell. 2 days, be out the door. Man, I got a job to do. That the complaint will change, right? Yep. Southeast doing the same thing it does. You're firing like this. The complaint changes. What does that tell you? We didn't change. We're doing the same out the door rate, same accuracy rate. Why does the complaint change? The complaint changes because the dudes are letting the market push them around. Yep. They're letting the current of, well, it's raining this today. I don't give a damn about that rain.
Nope.
Hey, I will go do what I gotta do. Well, they ran a sale. Like, you see what I'm saying? Is you'll let the devil get on your shoulder and create all these reasons. And what that does is it puts you in reaction mode. It puts you at just the behest of what the universe is doing to you. Well, the universe is doing it to you. It's doing it to that guy over there that's winning.
Yep.
He's in the same riptide you're in, but he's surfing like Well, Keanu Reeves looking at his Point Break 1992 looking at. How come you're over there drowning? Well, he's doing something. He in the same Pacific Ocean you in. See, you've got to get that frequency, guys. If you don't take anything else away from this video, I'm telling you, it's something I fight daily, because growing up the way we did, we weren't rich. We didn't have the internet. We weren't exposed to other opportunities. And now it's like I'm scared to death that I'll slip back into that mindset, that I'll slip into. Last example, I'll let you guys go. I pay my crew too much money. Everybody that works for me makes about $20,000 a year more than they're actually technically worth if you do a market study of what those type jobs pay within 100 miles of where the shop's at. Every one of my guys makes too much money. I do that on purpose because, number one, I want to take care of my guys. Number two, I will not allow myself to run a company where I don't pay my guys and take care of them. It's not about them. I'm glad that they all make more than where they come from, and I got great guys. That's not what I'm saying. I do that for me because I am the place in 3 counties where everybody wants to work. You think I'd have, Aaron, do you think I'd have, would I have any problem backfilling a slot?
No. No. No, there's a line. They got guys ready to work at Southeast.
When you operate that way, it opens up opportunities that you almost can't even see right now.
You can't fathom it. You can't fathom because you start being around abundance. When you stop allowing scarcity, the serpent's the only thing that started the scarcity off in the Bible. That's it. So if you got to understand, there was no scarcity mindset in the whole situation. So then if you start thinking in terms of scarcity, where does that spawn from? People don't want to say that. Well, that's Satan. Well, dadgum, he's the only one who ever introduced it. Where did scarcity? Well, there's no jobs. Well, it's saturated. Oh, go on. Hey, go on, man. He's slithering, baby. He's slithering. And you can mask over it and talk about it and wash over it however you want. Because let me tell you, every human has a way of making it sound palatable to them. That's Satan too. You'll swallow it. You'll swallow the pill. Let me tell you, one day I had to wake up and I had to say, get all of that away from me. And that came to my family. That came to anyone that was around me. And I have a very small group of friends. My friends, we die for each other, dude. Drop of a hat, bud. Let's go to war. All right. But that's what it'll do. So you're not going to have a lot of acquaintances. You're not going to have a whole lot of friends because a lot of people can't run on that frequency level. But I will tell you, when you stop thinking in terms of the scarcity, in terms of somebody's out to get you, it's just slow, it's this and that. I'm going to tell you, if it's just slow, I better market harder, dude.
Right.
I better call more people. I better talk and close more. I better call those people back who are interested, who are, maybe went a little cold. Maybe they're ready right now. You never know. I'm going to tell you, once I started leaning into that type of activity in my wash business, okay, something would come. And it's wild, bro. It was wild. I wouldn't have anything, man. It would be slow, right? And I would just
commercial job,
dude. I'd start calling. I'd start banging. I'd start calling old people who kind of went cold. They never committed. They never gave me an answer. Maybe they didn't answer. I'd text them. I'd start running into these other channels, trying to switch it up, change it up, still do income producing activity. And then big commercial job would show up.
Not 15, one you called. Just
how did it? It's because I believe there is something tied. There's an energy tied to that. It's God to me, but there's something tied to that as far as you taking a step in belief, you believing it's going to happen for you. And look, a lot of guys want to be like, that's juju. That's juju thinking you're creating your manifest, whatever you want to call it, energy. Yeah. Okay. It's all been created. You got to figure out if there's some things you may not have been taught, right? Taking a step forward and making the calls and doing the activity, stuff will come out of that. But you actually have to believe there's going to be fruit coming out of it. Once I figured out that mechanism, I had no problem kind of putting my foot on the gas all the time in that way because I just kept believing. I was just like, no, something's going to come out of it. And sure enough, eventually what happens is your schedule becomes really full and it becomes your default operating system.
Correct.
You don't go back. You can't go back because you've been exposed and you've become aware to the mechanism.
Right. You've rewired your operating system to a whole new, it's iOS whatever versus Windows 98.
Yeah.
You uninstalled and you reinstalled something different. And like you say, man, it's just, it works, guys. I'm just telling you, it works. If you're out there and you're on a budget, look, I had a guy comment last night. Are the Easy Maxes going to go back on sale? I was like, I didn't even know I took them off sale, truth be told. I had to go look. I was like, I guess we did take them back. They're $24.99, okay, versus $19.99, the introductory sale we did. Bro, it don't matter. Like, do you need one? Like, it gets you one. It'd be all right. We're not talking about a lot of money here. If you run and look for that, that's all you'll see. It's just, that's all you'll see. So many examples I can give you guys. If you take anything away from my life story in business, starting a business in my driveway and building an 8-figure sustainable company in less than 5 years. So here's a stat for you. About 7% of the population can become an entrepreneur and last more than 3 years, right? So about 7% of the population can do that. About 1% of those people ever break $1 million a year in top line. Okay. We've had $1 million months. So I'm not just some yahoo. Okay. I might know a few things. And I'm telling you, the number one thing I can impart information from me to you, it's not technical, it's not the bookkeeping, it's not the patents, inventions, it's none of that. All that stuff's got its place. I'm telling you, the number one thing that's allowed me to grow from starting in my driveway with like $400 to less than 5 years later, a 8-figure company, is a mindset that looks this way. It looks for the next opportunity. Because I have people in my life right now that tried to talk me out of spending the investment for Batch Buster. I have people in my life right now that try to talk me out of buying the building we're in, which was a great deal on the building. Man, you don't need to buy that, man. That's sink all your money into that building. What if it don't work out? What if it does? Those same people would talk you out of the super pump. They would talk you out of releasing equipment. What about the liability? What about that? What about forever? What about you just stay clocking in if that's how you're going to operate? So if you guys are out there getting started in pressure washing, go check the links out. Go over to the site, get you some gear, get you some training, grab a course. If you don't know what the piss you're doing, grab you a course. It'll help you. Okay. But the thing that we can't teach you, we can just show you. Okay. I can't teach it to you. I can just show you. You got to learn it yourself. It's mindset. It's when you decide you want to leave the wilderness and cross over into Jordan and you want to walk in a different way. You're just not content to be in Egypt, and you're not content to wander in the wilderness either. It's not comfortable going into Canaan, but Canaan's really nice once you get there. It's work. It's not easy. Biggest thing you're going to do is try to unwire Egypt out of your brain. See, you got to become a whole nother country that don't exist. You got to think about how hard that was. They had to assimilate to be Israel that didn't exist. Like, they didn't got no holidays. They don't have no, they spoke Egyptian. Like, they had to become something that was not. And that's what you got to do in business. You've got to become a new version of you that does not exist. You got to reinvent yourself. I'm the CEO of Southeast Softwash, babe. Hey, I got patents, dude. You gotta tell yourself that until it's reality.
Yeah.
You don't get there operating the same way that got you here is not the same thing that's going to get you there.
That's how I think, man. I'm just like, look, if anybody can do it, then I can do it. I believe that. And that's how you individually, right? You have to begin believing that, because if you don't believe it as an individual, you'll never attract those people into your life who believe it as well. So you think like some of these guys link up and then they make a decision to do it. No, that's not how it works. Like Cody and I, developing Batchbuster and, Super Pump and a bunch of other stuff. It's like these two guys were individuals first. All right. They had their own standard they held themselves to individually. That energy frequency attracted the partnership. It wasn't that we like became friends and then we were like, oh, well, you want to level up your thinking with me? That ain't how it works, because high performers don't do that. They attract those people. They link up with the people who are already high performers mentally. And they say, hey, man, I got an idea. You want to do it? And every high performer that I've ever said that to said, yeah, dude, let's go.
Yep.
It's been the opposite rhetoric as the broke people I grew up with.
Yep.
Every high performer, I was like, they're like, yeah, dude, that's a great idea. Let's do it.
We do it all the time. We'll have an idea. And look, sometimes we shoot the ideas down. That's kind of the scientific method. It's to say, hey, what do you think about this? Is there anything dumb here I'm not seeing? I'm like, I don't know. This could be, what about this angle? We hash through it. Don't see anything. Don't see any big landmines. Press go, dude.
That's what it is.
You go talk to broke people. Oh, it's landmine. The whole earth is landmine. It's like,
no, don't get creative now. Don't get believing you can break out of this poverty now.
So you gonna go wash them houses? You could catch somebody's outlet on fire. You could kill a bush.
What
you
happens?
You could also screw around and make $1 million. Like,
it's like, dude. So guys, listen. I hope you get something out of these talks. What we're really trying to do is, iron sharpens iron, right? And if you can, we got guys like Mike Turman in the chat. We got guys, some killers in the chat right now. But if you're one of those guys who's up and coming listening to this, I realize that these talks sound a lot different than what you normally hear from especially pressure washing guys, right? Because these talks are not milk toast. These talks are not really easy to swallow, right? You're almost like looking through the lens of how Cody and I talk when we're together. Like we cut to the chase. We're like, nope, that's got to go. That's got to go. That's got to go. It's not about how you feel. It's about what is combat effective. What's going to be profitable? How is it going to move the needle? And if it doesn't, get it out. Get it in the ditch. Like, get it quickly. I've known people who will mull over and they'll think about something so small for a long time. They're like, dude, it's been 4 months. You still thinking about that Easy Max? Damn, son, you could have cleaned like 40 houses by now just knocking on doors.
Dude, we had a guy, I know it's loud, the rain's loud, but we had a guy 2 weeks ago wanting a Gen 2. We gave him a really good deal on it. He applied with Click Lease. They gave him a rate based on his credit. And we talked to our guy at Click Lease. We're like, hey, this is a good dude. Can you do anything to help him out any on the rate? And he's like, we really can't, let me see what I can do. He waived a couple of the fees for him. And it came down to about $2,000 that this guy was like wanting us to knock off of the skid. We're like, we can't knock that off the skid, dude. But he just got out of his mouth like the previous day telling Jonathan that he makes like $1,500, $2,000 a day washing. Wait, and he's with like a homemade rig that's, really janky, and he gets it done, but it's hard to work. So you're making $2,000 a day, but you're going to make a decision about a piece of equipment that you'll run for 2-3 years over 1 day's income. See, but you got this thing in here. It's a landmine that the damnedest thing is, after I started making some success, some strides in business, and I was like, all those landmines, they were duds.
They were decoys, dude.
They're not even real.
They're not even. You go
all
up to them. They're styrofoam.
The things that hold those people back, the people that we used to go to church with that are broke as hell, the people that we used to hang out with that are broke as hell. We have 100 kids on Wednesday night church. We used to feed them. Well, it's dinner time. We'd have 120 kids there. Well, they took some months off for the summer, and then they would start back up in the fall. They had a meeting. I was like, not even listening. Well, I don't think we need to feed them because it's just a lot of money. And I was like, I heard money. I perk up. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Well, feeding them every Wednesday. I'm like, how much is it for 12, 13, 15 pizzas? I mean, it could be like, they give us a deal because we buy them every week. It could be like $100, $125. I said, well, I'll just pay for that shit. Like, you're talking about affecting a town of kids that you can have a positive outcome in their life, but you weren't going to do it because 2 slices of pizza.
That might be that kid's food.
Somebody would invest in me more than 2 slices of pizza. But see, you can't. If you're looking like that, you're looking so to the negative that you'll throw humans out. People that the whole point of Wednesday night church for the teens and the kids was to try to help the area children that live in the middle of the hood, that we could get them there on a Wednesday night, teach them something about the Bible, show them somebody cared. I'm talking about kids of all color, black kid, white kid. I had a couple of younger black guys. They were 17, just cool as crap. I'd let them drive the Lotus to like school and stuff. They're just good guys, right? Knocking down racial bullshit that don't really exist. You're gonna mess all that opportunity up over 2 pieces of pizza. But these aren't bad people. They're just stuck in this world. And so I just pay for it. If they don't understand me, this is the next thing they'll say. Hey, just trying to show off. I don't care. I don't even care if anybody knew I was the one that paid for it. I would actually prefer that you didn't know it was me, because I don't have time to try to train you and extract you out of your 70 years of thinking. Okay. I'm just trying to get to a result of the outcome. It's not about that. It's not what it's about. It ain't no money. You're talking about $100 a week. What's that times? It ain't even the whole year. It's 9 months, right? So it's $400 a month. Watch this. I'll just wave my hand and make $400. But see, the problem is they've never been in a position where they can do that. They work a job, they get a paycheck, they've got to budget that to the penny. Guys, if you're in this industry, if you're buying stuff from us, by default, that means you're a business owner. It means you have the ability to affect outcomes. You can work the same 40 hours, or you can work 60 hours, and you can triple your income. So you don't have to think that way, okay? I'm not saying go waste 40 grand, but I'm saying don't look for the nickel and dime. Don't run on that frequency, because you're doing damage that you can't even see you're doing. You're doing it to those around you. You're doing it to yourself primarily. Primarily, you're doing it to yourself. You don't need socks and underwear for Christmas, okay? Go get yourself something nice. All right, if you're bringing home the bacon, if you're killing the beast, you're supposed to wear the bear claw necklace. Lets everybody know you killed all them damn bears.
That's
okay?
Right. That's
Lets
right.
you know. Look at here, I killed all them bears. That means I can go kill another one.
That's right.
We're not looking for squirrels. We're not squirrel hunting. We're bear hunting, baby. That's what we're going to do.
That's right. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. I hope you got something out of this talk. I hope you can, I hope some of this can rub off on you as far as your closing energy and your belief in yourself, because I hate the believe in yourself thing, because it just sounds very cliche, but it's oddly the whole deal. It's oddly all of it. I wish I had a better way to articulate it. I guess you could call it faith, which gets you into that youth group situation. But see
if they got any pizza when you get there.
See if they got any pizza, or if they shorted you that. Boy, somebody's going to answer for that one. Lord. So you mean you was going to chop off my gospel? Hold on. Stand right here at this gate now. Don't go in real quick. So I got a question for you. So you was going to chop off the gospel now. You going to cut it off to them kids for $120 a week? Answer for that one. Answer for that.
Like, bro, let's cut the AC off and buy the pizza if we have to.
Cut the AC off. Kids don't care. They just here for pizza. and maybe we can brush some of the word off on them. Maybe, but they can take an interest in the word from getting them there to eat some pizza. And some of them kids, man, it might have been the only piece of pizza or only food they ate that day. I don't know.
I know we've went long on this, but here's what I saw in that time frame. And I'm not beating up on the people at this church. I love those people. They're just running normal operations. Okay. They don't know no better. But I was the guy that could write a big check and cover it. I could something broke. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I was the guy. Okay. Just is what it is. Just is what it is. I would start trying to teach some of the teenagers some basic biblical money principles. Oh, we don't like that. We don't like that. But see that you're supposed to be poor. We've tethered poor. Well, simultaneously, like, dang, man, I appreciate he took care of that for the church. That's great, man. Now forget that happened and let's go back to poor. Well, no, if we would like to maybe influence some of the 16, 17, 18, no, I'll tell you what, let's do. Send them to Auburn. That way they can get a degree in underhanded basket weaving. No, listen to the person who is where you wish you were. I'm not just running in circles with the same people. I listen to people who make billions. I'm trying to make $100 million, right? I've made millions. I'm trying to make tens of millions. So if you're making thousands, maybe you should listen to the guy that's made hundreds of thousands. If you're making hundreds of thousands, listen to the person that's made millions. Don't take the advice. Don't take the thing and then not take the advice of how. This is the way, guys. This is the way. This is how you do it. If you want to be able to affect outcomes, I'm telling you, this is the way. You don't look for that. You look for this. You look for opportunities. You start seeing opportunities everywhere, and they're there. You don't look for the landmines. You don't look for the $2 pizza landmines. You see, you'll shut down a whole war. You could have won a war of the teenagers in this 80, 90 teenagers. You could have won a small war, but you stopped because of a cardboard tank. Ain't a real. You stopped because of a $2 pizza landmine. Oh man, what are you talking about? Invest where it makes sense. Okay, don't get distracted. There's the devil wants you to be distracted. He wants you to not win so that you can't affect outcomes. How'd the country get like it is? Because we're the silent majority. Well, quit being silent. Tell everybody. If you have figured something out, tell everybody. Yep. And if you're one of the everybody, damn it, listen. Don't get so arrogant about your poverty because you've linked it to Jesus. They ain't got nothing to do with it. They ain't got nothing to do with it. He's a million miles away. But that's easier to do because if you do that, you won't have to change. If you don't, you have to change not only because you want to do better for yourself, but because God told you to. You gotta change. Do you mean, wait a minute now, that I'm in the wrong if I don't leave an inheritance? That's what the book says. You gotta go win. It ain't an option. Yep. It's not a luxury to kill the bear just for the necklace. The necklace is just a marker that you did what God told you to do. He said, look, here's your garden, go subdue it. You don't have an option to not subdue it. You're letting it subdue you. It wasn't a suggestion. It was a commandment. Go subdue. Go ye and subdue the garden. Dress it. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't get it. Guys, we don't get a get out of jail card. There ain't one. There ain't one. It's not coming. Nobody's coming to save you. Adam didn't get to go sleep and some gnomes come in there and dress the garden for him at night. If you ain't got no leads, it's your fault. If you can't wait for shipping, it's your fault. If the forklift tears up tomorrow and the shop is shut down because we don't have a functioning forklift, it's my fault. And you know what I'll do? I'll buy and expedite a forklift. And I got the money in the bank to do it. You've got to operate that way where we're not looking for the land. I know there's landmines, but I don't need to conjure no new ones. There's real landmines. Like, I don't need to invent some more.
That's
what we're telling you guys is that the majority of the things that you're letting hold you back are manufactured. They're not freaking real. Yeah. Do you know how many things we have to conquer on the daily?
Real
on
stuff.
the daily that would just shut people down and just wipe them out. No, no. Well, I was going to do that, but WooCommerce was real hard. Well, yeah, it is. It's dumb. You know what? You just do what you got to do. Oh well, I was going to run me a wash truck, but there wasn't nobody around there that had bleach. Give me people sit in my class and tell me that they can't find bleach in their area. Well, where are you at? I'm in Baton Rouge. You didn't say the Black Hills of South Dakota. You said Baton Rouge. You see, you done conjured up a damn landmine of no bleach.
He said, I reckon I'm in a major metropolitan area.
What are you talking about?
Ain't no bleach to be found.
Ain't no bleach out there.
I don't guess you're looking hard enough then.
You're almost looking to not be successful. It's kind of like I want to be able to say I tried. That way I can let it fail and then nobody can say I didn't try.
That's what it is.
I'm not here to try. Okay. There is, in the words of Yoda, little green man, they ain't no try. They's only do. You just got to let it do, man. Quit trying. Let it do.
You guys go out there, crush it, man. Look, we're talking this. We want to give it to you because it applies to you. It's the same principles, man. We're all in this together. We're all doing this. We're all trying to win every single day.
I want them to win, man.
And hopefully you will take that commandment of leaving an inheritance to your children's children as heavy as I have in the past year and a half. It's that sits on me I wake up, my eyes open, it's that inheritance, man. Like, sit up. Let's go. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in.
See you, boys.